Well, hey everybody, welcome to our live stream. We'll go ahead and give everybody a few minutes to join in. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these. I think it's been a couple of years, honestly, uh, since we've done one of these. So this is kind of awesome. We'll see if some people want to join in. All right, so we're here to talk about some events that happened today, which was namely Six Flags announcing that they are going to be replacing their current CEO. I think a lot of people are quite happy about this news, even though we don't know who it is, who's actually replacing him. I've seen a lot of people online kind of making suggestions, so we're going to kind of go through what was announced, and then I'll share some of like the suggestions that people had. There was actually a couple of really good suggestions, and then a couple that were just kind of funny. But go ahead and share. So this is our article that we put up today. Six Flags announces their CEO succession plan. Richard Zimmerman to step down as CEO by the end of 2025, and he will continue to serve as CEO until a successor is appointed. Board will commence search to identify the company's next CEO. And then just corporate speak, stepping down, quote unquote. And then all of the other stuff that kind of goes along with this. So a lot of corporate speak there. So I did actually take some notes here regarding this. So again, he will continue to serve as CEO until a successor is appointed. The board is currently searching for the next CEO. Just a little update on Six Flags stock today. It did close 20% down after this announcement, which was minus $6.38 per share, but it was up slightly in after hours share trading. So, maybe that's a good sign. Who knows? But we'll see kind of what happens with that. And then, as I was saying, there were some really good people, some really awesome people kind of suggesting CEOs. One that I think was actually pretty serious. One that I suggested that I honestly wasn't that serious about, but that I think people actually were like, "Hey, that's not the worst idea in the world." So somebody suggested Michael Cole Glazier, who joined the Six Flags board in June. He was the vice president of Animal Kingdom at one point, president of Disneyland Resort, president of Disney Parks International, and he was the CEO of Virgin Galactic at one point too. So maybe this has been in the works since June. Maybe that's why he joined the board. Could be. I'm not 100% familiar with him, but he might be a good choice as far as that's concerned. My kind of weird out there choice was actually Bob Chapek, former CEO of Disney. I thought that Bob Chapek got a really raw deal. I don't think half the problems that people were blaming him for when it came to Disney parks were his problem at all. Obviously, when Bob Iger came back, it didn't get fixed. So I honestly think that that's probably he wouldn't be the worst idea. Somebody who is not attached to Six Flags at all, who would not be afraid to kind of clean house where it needs to be cleaned. Whether it's at the top level of executives, you got a lot of executives there that are getting a lot of salary, and obviously performance is not there. So I don't think that would be the worst choice. And to be fair, a lot of people actually agreed with me that Bob Chapek wouldn't be the worst choice. Somebody said Mr. Six. I could take that role, Mr. Six. I could play that role as the Mr. Six CEO. And then going way back, this would be for anybody who is not anybody who is Gen Z or younger will not understand this reference. But somebody said Dick Kinzel. So if you remember, he was actually, I believe, CEO of Cedar Fair. Might have just been Knott's. I don't know if he was over the entire company, but this was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Um, I'd be good with it. Dick Hensel was a good dude. I met him multiple times. Um, I remember sitting in a meeting with him and some friends that that no longer have coaster websites, kind of getting the plans for Silver Bullet like 3 years before Silver Bullet even was announced. So I'd be okay with Dick Hensel as well. But that's kind of my thoughts. If you have any suggestions for Six Flags CEO, feel free to drop it in there. Because I think that there's probably a lot of pretty good candidates out there that might be okay for Six Flags. So obviously they've got a lot of things to fix, so to speak, at this point. They've got obviously there's parks that are going to be closing. Six Flags America is closing at the end of this year. California's Great America is closing at some point. Rumor is after next season. I hope not. It's one of my home-ish parks. It's about 5 miles up the 101. I love that park. I have a picture of me a long time ago when it was Marriott's Great America. We'll see. Richard says, I hope they hire somebody with amusement park experience. I agree. I don't think that it needs to be, if we get one of these, people that are from some corporate bank, that's going to be very bad news for Six Flags. If we get some kind of, corporate buyout from, whoever it is, we just shared the news last week that Lucky Strike, the bowling people, bought some parks. They bought Castle Park out here in Riverside. They bought Raging Waters in Southern California and a couple of other parks. So if we get one of these investment companies that's going to come in, or these investment CEOs that's going to come in, we're going to get a lot more park closures than more than just Six Flags America and California's Great America. I did see some posts today as well, some people talking about that they're going to look at other parks, which doesn't surprise me at all. At some point, I'm sure that they're going to start looking at some of these smaller parks. Maybe some of these separate water parks. You've got Hurricane Harbors in Concord, Hurricane Harbor in Phoenix. I believe there's a couple of other Hurricane Harbors, that are kind of standalone. There's one in Georgia, Whitewater, that's not technically attached to Six Flags Over Georgia. You've got the Schlitterbahn parks. I think those are probably pretty good parks. I think they're pretty solid, but who knows? Maybe one of those will, be good. The other thing that we actually had too was when we post. I'll kind of share this is when we started looking at the price breakdowns for all of the Six Flags parks, for the season passes. Let me go ahead and share 1 second. There we go. So this is one of those things that we when we started sharing. There it is. The prices for these passes. We have a full breakdown of the 2026 passes, and in a lot of cases, they're really just giving the park away. That's not a really good sign as far as I can tell. Like, as an enthusiast, I think it's a great deal. These are some really great deals, but from a longevity standpoint, I don't know that these passes are sustainable. These prices are sustainable. If we want to have new coasters, if we want to have new things that aren't in Saudi Arabia, we want to have things here in the States. We want to have coasters and rides and shows and great food and great theming. You don't get it by selling $55 gold passes at Six Flags Over Georgia. It's just not something that you're going to have. So, we kind of broke all of this down, and it's still, very confusing as far as breaking down the passes here. We've tried to, break them down for multiple parks. We've got another video coming out later on today that kind of breaks it down even further for Knott's and Magic Mountain. But gold pass $75. That's not something that's going to be, that's not going to drive revenue. And we need revenue, $59 at Discovery Kingdom for a gold pass. That's not going to, it's going to bring people in. It's going to be great for us enthusiasts to get these passes for $59, but it's not going to bring in any new attractions at these prices. So it's just interesting to see. This is the timing of this is interesting. Maybe these passes aren't selling as much already as we think they are. I've heard that in Canada's Wonderland, the pass sales have been absolutely fantastic. Their numbers are up since Alpen Fury opened, which doesn't surprise me. The few times I've been to Canada's Wonderland, I think 3 times, it's always been crowded. It's got great attendance. It's a very well-run park, but even with that, I've heard that some food locations haven't been open this year and things like that. So there's definitely some pinching going on in this. So this is not a completely surprising development as far as I'm concerned. But I'm kind of interested to hear, some of your thoughts as well. What you think about, whether it's the price. Do you think the prices are part of this, or if it's just more consolidating, of staff? There's a lot of very high end people at Cedar Fair / Knott's, that are getting a lot of salary. So is this the end? Could we see some of the other high up, chiefs, so to speak, get canned, so to speak, or get asked to leave or step down, or whatever word you want to say it. The other thing that I kind of mentioned today too was there's a perception, as far as I'm concerned, that certain parks are getting a lot of improvements and other parks aren't getting those improvements. I don't know if it's true or not. But the perception is that parks like Six Flags Fiesta Texas, Six Flags Over Texas, Six Flags Great America, they're getting all of these tremendous improvements to their parks because their parks are sharing that information. Jeffrey Siebert is on all social medias, kind of sharing, hey, here's all the stuff happening at Fiesta Texas. Here's all the stuff happening at Six Flags Over Texas. Great America is doing the same thing. So the perception is these parks are getting improvements, but none of the other parks are, if they are getting these improvements, they're not sharing it. So Richard says there will be major cutbacks at parks next year. I agree. Definitely food quality may suffer. Wonderland is my home park and have definitely noticed some less food options this year, which is disappointing because the food at Wonderland is fantastic. I think probably the only park in the chain that kind of comes close from a food perspective is probably Knott's Berry Farm. Those 2 parks have fantastic food across the board. Richard, I don't know if you've ever been to Knott's, had anything boysenberry, but for years I've been saying that we need to have boysenberry beaver tails. I think that would be something that would be absolutely fantastic. But we'll see. But I think, honestly, if like those 2 parks just kind of join their own little chain, I would be 100% okay with it because those are 2 of the best parks. And, I would hate to see them kind of get, overshadowed by 41 other parks that are out there that they're trying to keep open. So good point there, Richard. But here's some more of the season pass prices. So you've got like King's Dominion, $95 for the Gold Pass. New England, $59 for the Gold Pass. Six Flags New England is worth more than $59 as far as I'm concerned. Michigan's Adventures 2026 passes aren't available yet. They weren't anyway when I wrote this. They might be now. I need to go back and revisit some of these. Valley Fair is $85. Six Flags St. Louis, $55. I mean, I think Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast is worth more than $55 a year just for that ride alone. I love the Boss. People hate that ride. I love it. Great Adventure, $79. Great Escape not open yet, or not there yet. Again, it might be I need to just update some of these. Cedar Point, $99 for a Gold Pass. It's just, yeah. And then, but Kings Island is $115. Frontier City not available yet. Dorney, $95. And I even think Dorney, I've been in Dorney twice. I think it's worth more than $95 a year. And then Canada's Wonderland, from like I said, from what I've heard, the pass sale has been absolutely fantastic at Canada's Wonderland this year. At these prices, doesn't surprise me one bit. $199 for a Prestige Pass and $99 for a Gold Pass. La Ronde wasn't available yet, and then obviously Six Flags Mexico wasn't available yet when I wrote this. So, yeah, lots of just the CEO might have just priced himself out. If this pass sale is not going as well as they had kind of planned, perhaps that's one of the reasons. But we'll definitely see. So as I said, for those of you just joining in, we did have the Six Flags CEO that is stepping down. So let me go ahead and share that article again, just for those of you that just joined us. Where is it? There it is. So again, the Six Flags CEO is stepping down by the end of 2025. He will serve as CEO until his successor is appointed, and the board is now commencing a search to get the next CEO. And again, we've got their board is searching. Stock price did close at 20% down today, which is $6.38 per share. It was up slightly in after hours trading. And then a couple of people suggested some CEOs that might replace him. One of them was Michael Colglazier, who is now on the Six Flags board since June. He was the VP of Animal Kingdom, president of Disneyland Resort at one point, president of Disney Parks International at one point, and the CEO of Virgin Galactic, if you remember that. So seems like it might be a good choice. Maybe that was kind of already in play. Who knows at this point? My suggestion was Bob Chapek, from former Disney CEO. I'm one of those that believe that Bob Chapek got a raw deal. I don't think he deserved what happened to him at Disney. I don't think that it was his fault at all, or at least not all his fault. But I think he'd be a good choice in looking to redeem himself. Somebody said Mr. Six, which I think I could pull that one off. And then somebody went way old school and suggested Dick Kinzel. So if those of you that are older than Gen Z might remember Dick Kinzel. James says that he gave up his Knott's Pass because of overcrowding. These prices obviously won't help at other places. I completely agree, James. I think that I think I've gone to Knott's maybe 3 times this year, and none of them were full days. We'll make up for it during Scary Farm, just because it's Scary Farm. We've got our Scary Farm pass, so we'll go, to Knott's during the day a couple times, and we'll go for Merry Farm. But yeah, we have not been visiting Knott's that much at all. Typically, if we're going to drive all the way down to Orange County, we're going to Disney. So not that it's not crowded there, not that it's not expensive there. But yeah, our Knott's visits have really kind of gone down the last few years. So, and we're still trying to figure out which of these passes we're going to get. I'm thinking maybe the Prestige from Knott's, because our son and daughter-in-law are coming out for Scary Farm. So we can use the free bring a friend for them for that if we want to go to Knott's during the day. But if we're not, then I'm just going to keep my Six Flags membership that I've had for 10 years now, and see what that does. So I'm certainly not sold yet on which pass I'm even going to get. And I've been writing articles and doing videos about all of these things for the past few weeks. So that's pretty sad that I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. All right. Well, let's see. I didn't want to keep you all too long. So 20 minutes seems pretty good. If you have any follow-ups, let me know. Like I said, we're going to be posting a new video this afternoon, an article, just a further price comparison of the Six Flags and Knott's passes. Let me go ahead and I can actually share it with you all. Since you're here, I think I can actually do this. Hold on 1 second. Actually, I think I already posted it. So this article basically goes down Knott's Berry Farm versus Magic Mountain, because most of our fans are in Southern California. But this basically is just a whole bunch of spreadsheets, a whole bunch of tables, kind of every scenario that you could possibly want for your Knott's versus Magic Mountain pass. So what options are available, what prices, and it even goes down to, here's a Prestige versus Prestige. Here's Prestige with one park dining. Here's Prestige with all parks dining. Here's Prestige with the drink plan. Here's Prestige with the dining and the drink plan. So we kind of go through all of it. So that'll be posted up here in the next few minutes. Just the video actually just finished rendering. I'll get that uploaded, and then we'll get this out shortly here. So check that out if you want to. You need a little bit more information about Six Flags passes for 2026. And here's the grand poobah, the creme de la creme of Six Flags passes: Prestige with All Parks Dining, All Parks Drink Plan, All Parks Fast Lane, and Scary Farm. Just $1,600 a year. Actually, to be honest, with all that, it's actually not that bad. So stay tuned. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Appreciate talking with y'all. I appreciate all the messages and everything. And we will talk to you soon.